All right, everybody. Hope you're doing good. Just getting all settled up here. About to do the strategies here. Hope you're all doing well. Having a great day. Boom. Dave, what's up, buddy? I know you want to get back on, dude. Let's schedule at calendly.com/Sherman On. Let's get you back on. That'll be great. That'll be great. Let's get this going here. Oh, I just threw pens out. That was silly. Okay, now I got to get Facebook Live going here. Facebook Live. Boom, live video. We're making it happen, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Scheduled for next Wednesday, I think. Awesome. Haven't checked the schedule. I need to check it. All right, here we go. All right. So let's just come down here. We'll do a different angle today. No one's in here today, so we can do some. We can do a different angle. All right. So let's see. Boom, going live. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Okay, people. Boom. Here we are. Making it happen, Captain. Okay. So, Davis, is there anything on your mind as you think about social media strategies? I got some for my college friends. And then here's Facebook. Any comments or questions regarding social media? Strategies. Sorry, guys, I can't type and talk at the same time. For me, it's kind of one and done. Chris, what's up, buddy? Hey, great progress, by the way. My boy Chris Davis has lost like 30-some pounds since like October. That's fantastic, man. That's phenomenal. That's success. I love it. So let's see what we got going on. Oh, hey, champion Leslie, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. So, so you guys put in any comments here. Social media strategies, questions. Social media strategies, questions. Put them up here. I'm going to pin it here on Instagram. So I'm running Instagram and on Facebook Live. So that way we're making it happen. Boop. What's up, Josh? How you doing? All right, so here we go. Let's see. No questions there. So I don't know. Is my girl? Let's see. Did you see Carrie Ann's on? What's up? Carrie Ann, hustle, making it happen. How's Kit? All right. So I don't know. Is there any way, any value doing anything else besides providing immense value to your followers, one person at a time? Okay, that's a good question. So that comes from Davis here on Instagram. His question is, basically, is there anything else besides just adding value to people that, one person at a time in leveraging social media? So let me talk about it here from the context of that you're building a personal brand. So this is the idea that you're an employee, you're working for an organization. So you don't necessarily control everything in the organization, or you just have a personal brand and you want to be able to market yourself. And so this is where I think people want to come from. Sarah, that's a great question. No weights today. Today I'm going swimming, actually. So we'll be doing pool time. So this is where I come from, the context of giving value, is that you want to be able to provide people of, let's just use the example, since Sarah's on, if I am in the construction business, okay? So I work for an organization and I'm giving out some construction advice. Oh, by the way, for Instagram, I'm going to be doing the raffle at the end of this. I got to print it out and cut the button pages. I'm giving away a free book called Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. And on Instagram, if you follow me there, if you tagged a bunch of people, you got a bunch of entries. And I was going to try to do it here at 12, but staff had left, so they'll be back here after lunch, and so then that's when I'll print it out and I'll be doing the live thing. We'll cut it, then we'll do a raffle. So anyway, so this is where I come from. Is in my posts is I want to be able to, so value makes sense, right? So this is where I'm going to come from though. From a business perspective, I want to be seen as an industry leader. So I want to be following all my competitors. So this is what I would be doing, Davis. Now, from a college perspective, I'm going to come back to you being a college student because you should be on LinkedIn already, and you should start building your connections right now while you're in college. And I know you're going to say, hey, well, I don't know a lot of people. Perfect. That's why you're on LinkedIn. You can start. It's going to suggest people for you to connect with. Plus, you're already talking to people right now on like social media, and you can start connecting with people already. Boom, crushing it. So then the idea here is I'm going to be following competitors on what they're posting out, and then I'm going to be able to even share what they might be sharing, because it's okay. Like it's not against like the rules of business not to share other business articles. Like I see that where people, they only want to share their company's like own articles, their company's own special sauce. The reality is that in business especially, there's not a lot of stuff that's being said that hasn't been said already. And so the idea is that you want to hold yourself personally out as the go-to for questions in your industry. So I think about, if my friend Sarah, who is in construction, in regards to like adding value, yeah, she could be showing some before and after shots. But I'd also be talking about just the construction business in general, where it's headed, what's going on maybe in the marketplace, what are some unique things that they're doing, maybe some unique processes to be able to keep costs down, what are some unique vendors that they're using. Vendors is a great way, by the way, to be able to give some shout outs to, because again, when you tag them, you're going to be seen by their audience that are following their page, and people are going to recognize that, oh, they got shouted out. So ideas in making the social media strategy, so this is what Carrie Ann says. Ideas in making the social media strategy of, let's say, a trucking company more interesting to me to the goal, more shares and likes. Okay, so I'm liking that comment. I'm going to pin it here so that way we know. So Carrie Ann asked a question here on Facebook. So let me just give you the example instead of me just skimming it. So imagine a trucking company wants to get more interested and meeting the goal of getting more shares and followers and using for recruiting strategy. So this is unique. Hey, Eric Addison, what's up, buddy? You can be wrestling soon. So sorry, guys. I have like a fly brain. It just goes all over the place. So the context here is you really want to be seen as an employer of choice. So what you're doing here is you want to be able to first in your strategy as a company recognize all your employees publicly, start showing people that you are an employee of choice, that you have a good culture. You could be even interviewing people that are comfortable in giving out kind of their testimony about why they chose to work there. And there are people that have made specific decisions, conscious decisions to work at specific places. They actually care about the company. They want to be, a giver to the organization by giving back. They might even recruit and say, hey, this is a great place to work for. We have wonderful benefits. We have an amazing manager. They're really taking us places. You should come work here. And so by being able to have that kind of open culture, you're going to be seen as a place of choice for some companies and employees. Where the problem is that sometimes what people think is that, okay, we got to be able to show about how awesome we are, like how we're going to pay all this income. It's not about income a lot of times. You want to be in the right ballpark, right? So if the average trucking company is paying, let's say, $80,000 a year to drive 100,000 or 150,000, not probably 100,000 miles, then you can't be paying 50. You know what I mean? Like you have to be in the same ballpark. You can't be so off base that your compensation is just garbage. Let's see, what's it say? Sarah Gass, Carrie Ann, 1, pictures of cool, so this is her advice. Cool pictures of funny trailer graphics, wraps seen across miles. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I also think about Sarah, the funny things that people will write on the back when the trucks get really dirty. They'll write on them. Those are funny. Safety and reality of struggles for truckers and family members. Pics or videos of truckers as they go across the country where they stop. Experiences with flat tires, deer hits, good hotels, stays, funny moments, at the diner real life. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's a really good example, Sarah, because what you're basically showing is the lifestyle of a trucker. So on Anchor, the podcast tool that I use, I actually follow a trucker. His name's Kingfish. He's actually down in Milwaukee area, but then he's traveling all over. And on the podcast, that's basically what he does. When he's at a stop, he'll just tell you about the tiny town that he's in and kind of what he sees and what his experiences. And I'm a firm believer, and I'm pretty sure he actually, I asked him that any small city in America, has he ever gone somewhere where there wasn't a Chinese restaurant? There isn't. In all my travels, I don't know how small a city is, there's always a Chinese restaurant. And it's usually somebody that barely speaks English. So I'm amazed at how these Chinese people find these places. Anyway, so and that's kind of to the idea that you can showcase the fun part of the job, or just kind of the uniqueness of the job, because people that are going to be attracted to the uniqueness of the job and what's being done there versus necessarily like your traditional job description. So let me give you an example. When this goes back to the seafaring ages of like Christopher Columbus, when they were going on these long trips, they would say to people in the ad, like, average pay, experience new worlds, embracing the adventure, hard work, backbreaking, only for the strong at heart. And so that's what was the job description. So then when you got people that were interested in getting average pay but would love to see the world, that's exactly what you got. The Navy did phenomenally well, I think, with their campaign of, do you want to see the world? Join the U.S. Navy. Zakarian, can you do a campaign like Coast to Coast where people can follow someone driving shipments in Baltimore to Mexico? That way we can see how far he gets, how many hours, would he cross paths, when, etc. No, they build a community of truckers. Engagements is key. Yeah. So that's another thing I think that sometimes people can leverage is reaching out to other truckers. Hey, what's going well? What do you guys do? There's a lot of organizations out there that exist that people have no idea who they are. Right? They employ 50 people, maybe even 100 people, so it's relatively small scale. But typically, when you get to about 100 people, you probably have a revenue of maybe $10 million coming in to be able to pay for all the payroll. If the average person makes like $40,000, you got 100 employees, you got basically $4 million of payroll. So hopefully, you're pulling in like 10 million. So in order to be able to kind of pay for everything else, that's gonna incorporate with health insurance and benefits, etc. So in this context, what you're doing as a business, the strategy really is, in order to get more engagements and more people, you're more focused on, okay, can we get people to like the company, engage with the company, who we are, what we stand for, and think about it. If I'm going to choose a place to work, what are the things that I'm concerned about? Especially if you're in the trucking, you are concerned about safety. You're concerned about maintenance and repair. You're concerned about, okay, if I'm out in Wyoming of all places driving, what's that look like? Is there work-life balance in the trucking industry? Does that even exist, or is that a complete fallacy? I know a lot of people that it is. They just say it's tough. Like having a single life, having a married life, and being a long mileage trucker is extremely difficult. So they could be talking about that and addressing that. What are different ways that they leverage technology for their employees? People are concerned about benefits. They want to know what's in it for them. What's the income look like? Those are the things I think that comes to mind. And then there is a unique thing on LinkedIn, is that you can really be publishing your thoughts on just the overall industry. So I think that's where companies can really be seen as an industry thought leader in regards to just the overall industry that they're in. And so that can be extremely powerful. Jared Stay, what's up? Andy, Kirsten, what's up? Hello, everybody. Randy, Kennedy, Chris Martin, what's up, everybody? All right, Nicole T-Load, I hope you're still on. So great question. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to just put them in the comments below and we'll answer them. I'm going to just pin this other question. Who's the best striker in the world? That's a good question. Actually, I wouldn't know. I think you would know that better than I would, my friend. So I'm going to let you answer that. All right. Boom. All right. Let's see. All right. So let's see. What do they say here on Instagram? Got to go. Hey, Josh, no problem. You got to go. You got to go. No problems, everybody. Whenever you got to duck out, you got to need to duck out. So one of the things that I'd say that people can leverage. Harry Kane, I will agree with you because I don't have a point of reference. What I would say is that you can start leveraging is a Facebook group page. So number one is on LinkedIn, you can actually start publishing articles and put it inside the profile page of your LinkedIn, and so that then people can kind of get a feel of what you're talking about or what you stand for. You can put, if you're a company, you can put in white pages that you agree with, maybe that you've even authored, and you can put that inside your LinkedIn profile. The other one is on Facebook. You can have an actual group page for talking about strategies, let's say for in this example of truckers and drivers. So you could literally start one called, long haul drivers or whatever you want to say, truck drivers. And so you can basically encourage all your employees to engage onto this one Facebook group page just to know what their thoughts are. Are they experiencing anything unique? One of the interesting things that I was watching yesterday was this guy had gotten bit by a rattlesnake, and he was out kind of in the middle of nowhere. But for whatever reason, he had access to Facebook, and he sent so instead of, I don't know why he didn't call 911, but nonetheless, he just posted on Facebook, "I need help, got bit, someone come get me." His mom races across the county, picks him up, takes him to the ER, and so I think about how Facebook really has this timeliness to it, and not everybody consumes it the moment that it's been posted up, but there's a lot of people that do end up following, especially mom to children, in regards to the post. And so that's where you can actually have some good leverage with using like a Facebook group page, where if let's say you're a trucker and you're like driving through Wyoming, and you can say, okay, hey, the 45 is closed. It's not the 45. I'm just making this up. I can't remember what the road was. Is it 90, 94? Anyone know, like, what's the weather like in Iowa? Like, I'm hearing about all these disasters. Now, of course, they have their CB, so they might be utilizing that, or they might be just saying, "Hey guys, have you eaten at this restaurant? It's the bomb." Boom, put it in this Facebook group page, and so that can be just a great way to be able to just share knowledge in one page. Now, someone would say, like, okay, well, what's the value for our business, right? If I'm a trucking company, what's the value for me to be able to manage this Facebook group page? Number one is, once you get people onto it, you're not managing it at all. Other people do. Like, they're the ones that are making the comments, they're the ones making the posts, and they're the ones that are talking about it. So you don't have to worry about manning this thing. You have to maybe worry about going on to it, allowing people to enter, unless you can, on the Facebook group page, you can just allow anybody to go on it. The way that I would use a Facebook group page right now, if I kind of come to this context, like let's say I'm in sales or I work for a company and I'm building up this client base, is I would see if I could get people's permission to add them, like get a photo with me in front of their business, me in front of, with the owner. Hey, would you mind taking a photo? I want to put you on my Facebook group page. Oh, what's that for? It's just people that I meet, business owners, business connections in the community, and I just tag them on my business page. That's it. A lot of people are going to say yes, because a lot of people they like the selfie. They do. And if they don't like the selfie, they like their business getting the selfie, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that out there. I'm going to tag their business on Facebook. And what's going to happen, surprisingly, is imagine you did that every single week, or every single day. You got one new person, you put them onto your Facebook feed. And at the end of the year, so that's five people a day, 5 a week, that's 25, and you multiply that out by 50, that's basically 300. Now I have 3 contacts that I can go back to and say, hey, Jimmy, do you remember that time that I did that selfie for you? Guess how many views it got? It got this many views. And so if you're in like an advertising business, then that would be a way to be able to, now you have 300 people that know you, that took a photo with you. You have 300 people that now you can go back and say, hey, you know what? I posted up that free thing for you, and this is the impact. This is how cool it was. And oh, by the way, I can do that now for you for $50 a month or $100 a month, $200, and enter your price in, right? So because now you have proof. And I guess that goes back to the question of value, value, value. That's a way to add value. At the same time, it's not either. It's just a way to be able to connect with people and then just promote them on a Facebook group page. And again, you're just tagging them, and hopefully people that are that are following them, they see the tag and they come and look on your group page. And what they recognize is that all that you're doing is you're just recognizing people in the local community of people that you like as business owners, and I think that can be really impactful. And at the same time, the biggest thing that salespeople struggle with is prospecting. They don't want to deal with always getting new names. It's not that most salespeople they can't find anybody. It's just that their struggle is that they don't know who to call on. So what you're basically doing by leveraging your Facebook group page is getting the audience, so they call you instead of you having to go out and find them. So one of the unique things that I don't know how many of you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, but so as a present CEO, because he's so out there, there's so many people that they want to work for the company. They see the kind of personality that he is. They think, hey, I'd love to work for that organization. And so when he puts a post out, hey, I'm looking for this, he gets a ton of applications, a ton of inquiries to be able to work at his organization. Now, some of them don't make sense, right? Because they're all the way in Australia and they don't want to work in the United States. So it's like, what are you doing? But nonetheless, they get a lot of people that are interested. And so that's exactly kind of how you end up getting, a lot of people want to work for Google. Why? Because they hear about all this cool stuff. They hear about these cool things. They might even know some people there. But Google really doesn't have to run ads. I don't think they're paying for an HR company to go run ads for them, or they're trying to find people. They have more than enough people that are looking for them to come there. Ryan Stewart runs sales talks for sales pros and uses it as a funnel for his coaching business. Absolutely, you're basically giving out advice on how to do sales and marketing, and people are going to assume that you're an expert because they like your content, and they're like, hey, would you coach me? Okay, yeah. Oh, here's money. Here we go. All 300 gain network. Exactly. So that's where I think Facebook group pages has a real opportunity for those people that are running their marketing arm of their organizations. And again, these are people that you probably already associate with. These are vendors. These are people that are coming into your business. These are people that they might even be clients of yours already, and they want the promotion of their business. I don't know a company out there that's like, no, don't promote us. Actually, I'll let you know when I run into one, because that will be absolutely shocking. It's like the idea that McDonald's is like, no, don't tell anybody that we're on every corner. Don't tell everybody that we got the value meal. Like, don't tell people. That doesn't make any sense, right? So a lot of times you can basically leverage what people ultimately want. They want to be recognized. They want to be have the conversation out in the community. They want to be the forefront of people's minds. But they just don't know how to do it. So you don't have to necessarily, so here's one of the struggles is if let's say you're in advertising and you come at a company and you tell them that they're doing it wrong, then that kind of irks them, right? Because they want to know that they're doing something right. So maybe you compliment them on some of the stuff that they're doing and then say, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? Have you ever thought about being on Twitter? Have you ever thought about having an Instagram page? Have you thought about doing video instead of still photos? Instead of telling them, photos is what people did like 5 years ago. It's all about video now. That kind of can rub people the wrong way. Because instead of, you're just giving out advice instead of listening. Listening is way more powerful. And then they tell you what they're looking for. So great question, Carrie Ann. Great comments, Sarah. Appreciate that. What's up, Lewis? How you doing, buddy? Let's see what else we got here. So that's Facebook group pages. I think that's how people can leverage them. Working for a company, working on your own. Okay, so here's the advice. If Davis is still on, hopefully he is. If I am in college or I am in school or I just want I want to work for a new company. I want a promotion. I want to change where I'm currently at. Number one is you got to not allow yourself to have only one way of interviewing. There are too many good quality people out there that are only applying online. My gosh, the next person I talk to that's like, sure, I'm trying to get a job, I can't find anything, I'm going to be like, dude, then you have not looked anywhere. Right? Like, Facebook has a ton. Like, even in my community, guys, I live in a town, if you take the circumference of like 10 miles, maybe 5 miles, 100,000 people. That's it. Outside, once you get beyond that, guys, it is farmland, right? Like, there's no right. You don't know, unless you're Carrie Ann or Sarah. You know that we live in this crazy tiny community. And so I know, even for us, we have jobs in our small tiny town. Boom. Do you want a job in our small tiny town? Bam. There's literally a Facebook group page for that. And I know that we are not forward. We are not high tech around here. But we're high enough tech that people have that. And so I see posts all the time. Manufacturers that are paying $14 an hour, $15 an hour. Not huge jobs, but again, if I'm right out of high school, this is a pretty decent job. Others that are looking for giving out samples, maybe for a little bit of weekend job work. So there's a whole multitude of stuff out there. The problem that I see is that the average person, they only go at it one way. And the problem about going at only at one way when you decide to search for employment is that you're not going to use the right medium always. And so you want to be able to be searching. So I would literally be stopping into businesses. Because if you think about an HR person, they don't like going through a ton of resumes. They don't like going through pulling it up. I was even talking to a recruiter the other day, and they were lamenting that they had on their desk 30 resumes they had to go through. Because most people in HR, human resources, they like humans. They like humans. And so if you stop in and you say, hey, I don't know if you guys are looking for anything, and you looked, you don't have to put on a tie, although my mom would tell you otherwise. She had told me that whenever you ask for an application, always wear a tie. So even when I went to the local grocery store when I was 15 years old, I had to wear a tie. Well, I didn't have to. She had asked, she had suggested, she had advised. And like a good son, I listened. And mom was right. Literally at that grocery store, they'd offered me a job before I even left. So, of course, I'm Asian, so they probably assume I work really hard and have amazing work ethic. And it's true. Both counts, fast and long. So, don't know where that's going. Anyway, so the idea here is that if you've ever read the book, What Color's Your Parachute? It talks about interviewing. Now they've updated that book, so it's a phenomenal read if you're looking to completely change your career, like you're looking to become self-employed. So when I was, so this goes back like 14 years ago, before I became self-employed, I was working at a company and my dad encouraged me. He said, look, if you want to become entrepreneurial, if you want to go run your own business, you got to read this book, What Color's Your Parachute? So I read it, and it was phenomenal. And it comes with a workbook too, and take the time, go through the workbook. It's just solid. And so it's amazing to me, even back then, they even talked about using at least 4 ways, maximum 4 ways, that there's no benefit of doing 6 different ways, 4 ways of actually getting a job. So the first one was your own network, and referring to people within your network. So if, let's say, I knew O'Malley's, and I said, hey, O'Malley's, I'm trying to get a job somewhere. Do you know somewhere? Do you know someone at a different company? I'm trying to work over at the local hospital. Do you know somebody that works there, more in the administrative role? Right? So I'm using my own network. Then I'm getting referrals in my own network. Then I'm going to be able to use, let's say, online. So I'm going to use LinkedIn. And then I'm going to stop in and drop in at places. They found that once you go beyond 5, like let's say you used newspaper, then you used, a monster.com or careerbuilder.com. The problem is that you're starting to duplicate services. And so you're not actually getting into a greater realm. And so by being able to do it 4, maximum of 4, but at least 4, right? It's got to be 4, maybe 5. So I guess 4 or 5, that'd be the max, 4 or 5. Different ways of looking for employment, that's the way you're going to be able to do it. So the cool thing about the book, What Color's Your Parachute, it actually talks about what you need to do in order to get ready. Hey, what's up, Adam? What you need to do to get ready in order to become self-employed. So it's really an all-encompassing book, What Color's Your Parachute? It says, because the idea is that when you find yourself against the crossroads of your career, and you might want to go for a different company, you might want to go into a different role in your company, you might want to go and start your own thing, and how do you do that? And so it's the idea that each of us is going to have a different stance towards that that kind of fork in the road, and it's up to us to navigate and know ourselves well enough on what's going to make the most amount of sense. Plus, I like the idea that somebody tells me like, "Hey, I want to be self-employed." So right now, I'm like, eating ramen noodles, saving as much money as possible, so I can fund my own business in 5 years. Kudos to you, taking control. Unfortunately, a lot of people, what they end up doing is they get in a fight with their manager, who's a total tool, and they're like, "Boom, I'm quitting, I'm out." Boom, they drop it, and the problem is they drop it like this. Boom. And the problem is that they don't have anything ready to go. So unlike Tarzan, who was on a vine, they're going to the next one, and there's nothing there. So now they're stuck because they let go of that one vine, and now they're free falling, which is not a good thing if you're in the jungle. It's going to be hard. That ground's going to be tough. So I find it to be extremely useful for people to have different ways. And it is totally okay and appropriate and encouraged. I would encourage you to interview at like 10, 20 different places, as many as humanly possible. Because no matter how well you and I know a community, there are so many businesses out there that you and I are unaware of. I was just now this is small. This is like U.S. economy. So forgive me for those of you that aren't in the U.S. economy, but small businesses employ 43% of the workforce. Now these are publicly traded companies, so small would still be relatively large. It'd be like $500,000 of revenue, 250 million. But there's a lot of businesses I know in every community that I've ever been in that employ a ton of people. It could be 50, it could be 100. Like seriously, drive by, maybe the financial district, the industrial, segment of your town, and you'll be able to find that there are a ton of people parked outside of these different businesses, and they could be relatively small on the outside, but you're like, how do they have that many cars? Like if I counted it evenly, there's like 100 cars out there. So if nobody carpooled, they have like 100 employees. If anybody carpooled, you have more than that. How come I've never heard of that company? And there's gobs like that. There's just gobs. Because a lot of times, there's literally organizations that exist that never sell to you and I. They only sell to business, right? So there's one particular, here's one of our larger employers, and they're known, they actually put in the HVAC system, the fans, the heating system, the cooling system, probably cooling because it's a Taj Mahal. Is here. Company's called GreenHack. Most of you probably never even heard of it unless you're around my community, because they sell these fans, and sometimes they put their own name on it. Sometimes they sell the air conditioning unit themselves. Other times they sell that fan to a complete competitor or just someone else that's going to put it in. So they are actually supplying that hardware for someone else. So pretty impactful. And then, so that's where I'd say for social media, for leveraging social media to get a job, to change your role, you can use that. The other one that people, I think, are totally missing out on is LinkedIn. And so some of you might be watching and going, "Hey, well, I'm totally happy where I'm at. I'm totally good. I'm great. Louis Vassal, hello." And so you might be totally awesome where you are from a career standpoint or from a company standpoint. You like where you're headed. But I will say, you never know if something kind of goes south. So do not neglect your network. Do not neglect LinkedIn. And I know a lot of us don't want to spend a ton of time on social media. So what I would encourage you to do, just every day, when you first get into the office, check in with LinkedIn. Pull it up. Look in your activity feed. What people have birthdays, people have anniversaries. Go beyond that thumb. Leave a comment. Say, "Happy birthday, Jim." Boom, send. Congratulations on the anniversary, Louis Vassal. Boom, send it. And then what's going to happen, though, is that if you work for a huge company like a GE, and they say, "Oh, it's in the best interest of our employees," which means shareholders, and we're going to cut the company up, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you were working on GE Rail, and they completely dismantled that company. They totally sold it out, and now you're looking for a job. I mean, you could literally be like the VP over there, and if they decided that they wanted to change things, they changed things, and that was the struggle. And so that's exactly what's happening right now. That is literally the rumor on the street right now, is that not this, like literally Wall Street, that GE is going to look at cutting up all these businesses. And so again, no matter how great the company is, you need to be in control of your destiny when it comes to your career, and not be at the mercy of someone else that's making decisions for you on your behalf. And so whether you're in college, whether you're already working, keep your LinkedIn connections strong, keep them engaged. So I find the most important thing, thank you NYC Signs 141, is that you can actually leave comments that keeps you connected with people. And oh, by the way, in the context of LinkedIn, it doesn't matter who's watching it, because people assume by your posts, by your comments, that good things are happening. So I will tell you this, like, I seriously, when I make posts, like, it'll be luck on LinkedIn. Okay, so I have like 1,300 people that I'm connected with, and I really should whittle it down some more, but it's fine where it's at. So 1,300 people. So when I make a post, maybe 50 people watch it, maybe 20, but I get like no likes. I get like 2 likes. Again, this is LinkedIn. I don't expect this to be like Facebook or Instagram, right? It's a different tool. And so, but what happens is when I go meet people that are connected with me on LinkedIn, they will constantly say, Sherm, you're doing a lot of great stuff out there. And I'm sharing my industry. So again, if you're not following me on LinkedIn, connect with me, and then you'll see, like, I'm not posting a ton there. Like, I'm putting out some industry stuff, and some of it's not my company, just because I want to be seen as an industry thought leader. And again, I'm reading the article, and all that I'm putting there when I share it is a question. What do you guys think? Because I want to know what other people in my industry think about that article. Or if it's more general, I want to be able to know, hey, what does Sarah think? So here's a scenario. I follow your advice, and I check out competitors' Facebook page. Great idea for me. Sarah, it's okay. I've done this before, but good reminder, so I can do it more often. Yes. I see that someone I quoted back in November gave this competitor a 5-star review, as they selected this competitor to do their project over my bid. Yep, understandable. When the bid was submitted, they said they were going to do the project themselves. So I discovered they went to my competitor instead and didn't say so. So I follow up with this prospect and ask for the constructive feedback. Hey, yeah, I like that. That's just good to be able to see. Hey, what could I have done differently? As they are, or do I leave it behind and not bring it up, as it was well over a year ago and try things to ways? Appreciate the insights as to what Sherman or anyone else could say. I would always tell my prospects that there was no obligation, which is the truth. But how do I convey that? I would appreciate hearing from them if they do choose a competitor, and why and what and how I can improve, better chance. Let's see. And better chance to gain their business, even a price. Okay, so sum that up. Sorry, I should have read it more clearly. So the whole idea here is Sarah, sales rep, is on a bid for a prospective client. Client says, hey, we're going to just do it on our own. Yeah, the do-it-yourselfers, right? That's totally fine. Okay, good. And then she finds out later, through social media, that they ended up using a competitor. So her question is, does she basically let it go because it's been a year? Or should she ask and say, hey, was there any reason why you decided to go with XYZ company over us? Great question. So I guess I'd take it from 2 angles here. Number one is I like to know too. And the nice thing is that it has been over a year, so there shouldn't be any feeling of like animosity that, hey, that was over a year ago, no big deal. And so maybe it's done more privately. I think, Sarah, that'd probably be the best way to approach it, in a DM, direct message, private message, PM. And then just so that way it doesn't come up on their page, and so that way they don't feel like you're calling them out on publicly. But just say, hey, just would love to know from my own feedback, what was the reason why you chose, that company over us at the time? And just understand we're surveyed to death. So literally, I cannot go get a Taco Bell taco for like 89 cents, just one taco, without being asked to fill out the survey on the back. Now I know they're required to say that and ask that, but dude, I bought a taco through the drive-thru. I don't really know if I need to give feedback. Now, if I had awesome feedback, I'm going to let people know. And so that's the problem about going for the survey. So that's why I think you might have a little bit more better of an impact, Sarah, if you end up going about it privately and just saying it to them. Or even if you were to meet them at a networking event, I would see if you can kind of pull them to the side and just be like, hey, just wanted to know, like, why'd you end up using that company? Is there something that, I should know about my company? Like, and then let them give you the feedback. However, I will caution anybody asking for advice, especially if, let's say, you run your own business. Let's say Sarah's asking, this is her own business. They might find things, they might hear things they don't want to hear. So it's this old adage, don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. So if they come back and tell you that, your employees suck, or that they are, that you didn't get back to them on time, now you kind of have egg on your face. So that can be a little bit tough to handle. So you have to know yourself well enough to know that, can I handle the feedback if it's brutally honest, if it's extremely just like, you're just a piece of garbage, Sherm. I didn't go with you because your breath stinks. You smell like Korean food. That could have been true. Not that I had Korean. I did have it a couple weeks ago. So hopefully it doesn't stink. Yeah. So that's where I think when it comes to feedback, just know that that's where it's going to come from. The other one is, so do it privately, go there. I guess the only reason why I necessarily wouldn't do it, Sarah, is if you think that their answer is not going to give you anything of value. So if you think that just knowing their personality, knowing who that person is, are they basically going to tell you something that you already know? Like, hey, you guys' prices were high. And it's true. If you're like top-notch luxury, like let me give you an example. Mercedes-Benz. If I go to a Mercedes-Benz dealership, they aren't apologizing that they're high-priced. This is Mercedes-Benz. If you can't afford us, or if you don't want to afford us, you're more than welcome, Sherm, to go get yourself a Kia. Right? That's their attitude, right? They're not going to apologize for where they stand. They want to bring people up. And that's where I think a lot of people need to understand, if you're kind of more in that luxury side business, hey, we want you to come up to us, not us to come down to you. So how can we help you rise up to our level of value and appreciate our kind of exclusivity? That's exactly kind of where you want to put yourself in that place if you're a little bit more on the luxury side of things. So really good question there, Sarah. And again, everybody that's coming in just live here, social media strategies, questions, or comments. That's the idea of this social media strategies. Every Friday here, 2018 at noon. I'm actually going to see if there's some businesses out there that would like me to come and do it from their office, and that way their people can listen to this, and extremely, extremely valuable for them. Or they can give me some advice on social media as well, because I am not an expert, guys. I am just a practitioner. I'm just a doer. I use it. I post it up. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's bad. But I own all of it. That's the idea. From a standpoint that it's just me being me. It's just Sherman unapologetically being me. So that again, there's some strategies there. The other thing that I would say for people that are in the coaching business, because this comes up a lot. Mark Thomas in the house. What's up, dude? So the coaching business. So this is a cautionary note to anybody that has content that thinks that their content is like exclusive. It's not. It's not. I don't care if you've interviewed the top salespeople in the organization that you're in, right? The greatest construction, the greatest truck drivers, and you're putting all that content together, and then you're charging people a monthly fee. The problem about that mentality is that a lot of this stuff is free. A lot of stuff that's out there is free. And so this is just where to come from, is that every teenager right now, probably the number one channel that they watch, Medium, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, CNBC, all those networks combined. The number one thing that they watch, YouTube. And guess how much they pay for YouTube? $0. So if you think that the next upcoming people that can consume your content are going to pay you for that, you got a rude awakening coming. And the other thing that I would say is that a lot of companies, so even if, like, say, so there's one in particular in my industry, and that's what they do. They talk to the various go-getters of the industry, and then they put their stuff up, and then they charge companies or they charge individuals a monthly subscription. The problem is that a lot of companies are starting to do that in-house. Number one, it's becoming extremely inexpensive to create your own content. And number two is that a lot of people are becoming really good at using Adobe Photoshop, right? And Premiere, Adobe Premiere, and creating their own videos. Plus, there's a ton of music out there available on, mediums like SoundCloud that you can now make your own video production and not pay someone like a royalty fee. And our phones, right? Like, I can literally, with my phone, create a really sharp looking video. Now I won't edit it, but I'll find somebody that could. And so a lot of companies are looking for the opportunity to be able to do that and then put their own cultural spin on it. And that's exactly what they want. They don't want the industry outsiders talking about general concepts about, let's say, education. They want their own people talking about their thoughts on education. Let's see. Javier says, I'm 23. I can confirm that. Boom. Javier's 23. By the way, in most economies out there, the number one thing that is that actually drives most economies is consumption, the buying of stuff. So a guy like Javier is exactly who you want to be targeting. Now, I know that Javier doesn't have the same level of income, the same level of desire and consumption as, let's say, 40 and 50-year-old Jane. But the reality is that 40 and 50-year-old Jane used to be 10 years older when Facebook first started, and they might be a little bit more savvy than you think. Heck, I send snaps back and forth with my mom. She actually was the one that told me to download Marco Polo, the app, in order to be able to communicate through video. And she is going to be older this year by 1 year. I won't put her age out there because that's her choice, what she wants to do. But I'm the third born son. I'm 38. So again, just do simple math. Add like 40 years on that. Not 40. Add like 30 years. Not 30. But in that context, let's just say 30. You can kind of round it up. Anyway, so it becomes extremely important for anybody that's a coach, even if you have that content, good for you. In order to charge for that content, you better be coming on live. And that stuff should be like an ancillary note. Oh, by the way, I got 1,000 videos, which, by the way, I do. If you're not following me on my YouTube channel, you guys are missing out. It is quite the hoot. I put a lot of videos up there that just never make it to Instagram or Facebook. It's honest. There's a lot of stuff out there, guys. David Monk in the house, buddy. Great conversation, by the way, today. So the fascinating thing about leveraging all these tools is, I think the problem that most people have with social media, and I'm going to come from this context, kind of just round off this hour, is that they come at it wanting something right now, instead of understanding what it is that you're building for the future, right? You're looking ahead at 2025 and saying, okay, I need to be there, because that's really where everything's going. And so how do I build the network so that way I'm ready to rock when it's ready to go? And so that's the problem for a lot of people, is that they want the now of it. And so I see it even, like, it seems really cool in your industry if another, let's say, person posts up. So you see this all the time, insurance agents, I follow you guys. They'll post up and be like, hey, you should buy this insurance or buy that insurance. And the problem is that the only feedback that you get are from other insurance agents. So you think it's a great post because you're getting positive feedback. Hey, a lot of likes, great comment, I really like this. The problem is that all those people like insurance already because they're other insurance agents. They aren't people like the average Joe that doesn't care about that crap. So if your posts are about trying to get people to buy something, you're losing. People do not want to be sold, but they love to buy. Again, if you know Sales 101, you're selling on the features, not the benefits. The client, the person, they care about what's in it for them. What do I want? What do I get from buying your products or service? I don't care what it is. Someone had told me this, and so this is kind of where this quote came from. I was at a networking event. I was chatting with somebody, and they're like, "What do you do?" They're like, "You are whatever it is. I will buy it." And I said, "That's where I said, look, if you like the sizzle, you'll buy the steak." And that's exactly how it is. Even online when it comes to sales, and I know people will post up like fancy cars and fancy houses, and people will post up all these motivational quotes. And the reason why they post up motivational quotes is because they get a lot of likes. We like being motivated. That's how we're wired. We just like the quotes. We like the pictures. But yet people mistake that like as engagement. And I know people that like they're a coach, and they got gobs and gobs and gobs of motivational quotes. You need more of you, because people are going to buy you, not your quotes. They want to hear the video. What are your thoughts on that quote? So do the quote, incorporate it into the caption, but talk about it, because people are buying you, especially if you're in kind of a sales marketing role. People love free content. Absolutely, Javier. They love that free content. Can't get enough of the free. People love the free. And so if I'm a coach, right, and I have all these thousands of videos that I'm giving away, and right now they're at a subscription fee, again, keep it where it's at, but just note that you might start seeing a decline in people renewing because they're not going to see the value. If you can do something more unique, like you're doing live sessions, you're engaging people one-on-one, you're adding it more to like a podcast, maybe you're giving shout-outs to businesses. So any of your clients that run a business, now you're being able to allow them to be able to access any of the videos and then upload it on their own Facebook. And that can be a little bit more powerful, is encouraging others. And again, that's what they're paying for the subscription. They're getting the FaceTime, they're getting the exposure instead of access to things. Heck, I even went on. So I bought a minivan for the fam, because we added one more. We just got this huge family. Anyway, so we were looking online, and this one company wanted me to put all this information about like my name and my address, my phone number, and my all this stuff, right? Just to be able to have access to see their inventory. And I was like, dude, that's garbage. And I don't have any patience, none whatsoever, to go and walk on the lot to go look for cars. Oh, by the way, 15 years ago? Nah, maybe 20. That's exactly what you did. 20 years ago, the internet wasn't as robust as it is now, like auto.com or cargurus.com, carmax.com. And so you would only buy cars within maybe a 20-mile radius. Like, you didn't go very far to go buy a car. But now you can go anywhere. And oh, by the way, you can search that sucker down. You can find a 1990 Honda Accord, color gold, under 180,000 miles on it, and you can find it. The difference is that you might be buying it all the way in Tennessee or New York City. Well, I would never buy a car in New York City, too many city miles. But that's the idea, is that you would be buying it from a totally different city and driving it home. That's going to be, very few people go and buy cars these days without first going online. So this company that has, they won't give you the inventory because they want to get all your contact information because they can call you back. They're doing it wrong. Give all your inventory out. Let people know what you got on the lot. You don't need to know the price. Just let them know what you got and get them on the lot. But if you hold things back, like you think you got like this super secret inventory, you're just turning people off. And that's a loser's game. It will be. Now, even though we talk about social media strategies, people, don't forget that there's still different, depending on the community that you live in, your traditional methods still work as well. So talking to a local journalist, talking to a local broadcaster is still powerful for you. If you're still looking to be seen as a resource, as somebody that that you can help and get out to, that's extremely powerful by leveraging what's in your local community. So I know for me, TV still has a little bit of a pull. Radio still has a decent pull. However, more and more people are opting not to listen to radio on their drive time. More and more people are not listening to TV, especially the news. As a poll that's on here, that's not a lot of people, but who actually watches like the 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock news? Who watches the actual local news of their wherever you live? Just put a hands up. Just say yay or nay We'd love to know the thoughts on either people here on Facebook or people here on Instagram. Do you guys watch the local news? This just gives me a good insight on what people are thinking. Let me know. People are, which again is the ultimate problem, is that if you think about it, it's a stupid play. I hate this. We will tell you the news. We'll tell you the weather at 10 o'clock. Wait till then. I'm sorry. I already Googled the news. I already Googled the weather. I already know what's happening. I don't need to be waiting. Like, that's such a, haven't watched it, O'Malley, haven't watched it in forever. So this tactic that people like are going to like, oh, I need the weather. The problem is that you think people care about the weather is because you're hitting the wrong demographic. The people that care about the weather are typically people that are like 70 and 80. And unfortunately, they really don't care what the weather is. I mean, they care because they want to know, but they don't care that it's going to change their habits. It's not going to change what they're going to do. At 70 and 80, their habits are already built and done. They're already going to change things. The difference is for you and us, we're going to change. We're going to do something different. And the thing is, when it comes to watching news, we're not going to wait around. We're not. Again, we live in a Google world, right? So, Alexa, tell me what's the weather like tomorrow. Boom, done. Google, tell me the weather tomorrow. Done. So again, and I see it all over the country. Whenever I travel, I will turn on the news and I will see what I want to know how they're still doing it, because I want to know who's still consuming it. What are they thinking about? Vegan, what's up? Landscape 258. So that is my thoughts, everybody. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. If you have any strategies or any comments, any questions that you want to ask, feel free to send them over. Feel free to DM me. Would love to be of value to you guys. Facebook, I'm going to sign off here. Thanks for your time and attention. Have a fantastic now. And then Instagram, we're going to stay on because I am going to do the drawing for the second. Crushing it. Dude, you activated my Alexa right now. That is funny. Okay, let's go here. Hold on, I need to email this over to Kathy. Please print. So what I did is, in order to make it fair, so those of you that saw, so I ordered five copies of the book Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. And I decided I want to give it all away. All 5 of them. So the first one's going to go to Summer Silvery because she's an awesome and fantastic human being. Hopefully you guys are following her. The next one is for anybody that that tagged someone in my recent post. And so what I did in order to make it all fair is I printed it all out on Excel, printed it out, and then so I'm going to cut everybody's, and then they all have like their name. So if they tagged like 10 people, they got 10 entries. And so we're going to fold that up, and then I'm going to put it in a box, and then we're going to pull it and then see who wins. So that way it's all equal. Nobody's got like a bigger piece of paper than the other. They should all be somewhat uniform. You're always helpful, man. Thanks for your time, brother. Vegan Landscape 258 anytime. My pleasure. My pleasure. Gavy. That's right. Hashtag that. Hashtag that. Okay. So let's do this attachment real quick here. Crushing It giveaway. Boom. That's attachment. All right, let's do this. Let's go make it happen. P.S. My question was for... Good deal. All right, Sarah. Fantastic questions. All right, here we go. Let's do this. All right, Kathy, I just sent you some. Do you have a pair of scissors?
I do.
Can I use those? That'd be awesome. Awesome. And I just need that thing printed out so I can chop it up here.
Color, no color, doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Black and white's good. Save that color tone.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Oh, I totally forgot. Instagram Live is that Instagram Live only lets you go 1 hour, and we have 20 seconds before it's going to automatically shut down. So we're going to close this out, and I'm going to start fresh and new then we'll go at it.